3 hours until the massacre at Ffirth Asylum. John couldn't help but notice that, while all of Undisclosed appeared to be the aftermath of a post-Super Bowl riot in Detroit, if you had woken up in Dave's neighborhood, you wouldn't have noticed any difference. Same old busted windows and same months-old trash bags sitting on porches. John found this comforting. The big change, of course, was where Dave's little 1,100-foot bungalow had previously stood. There now wasn't much of anything. Just a floor supporting the black frames of 2 burned-out walls and piles of wet, charred debris. Blackened drywall and 2x4s and roofing and gnarled wiring. John really didn't feel anything about this, one way or the other, and not just because he had been the one to burn it down. John didn't get sentimental about houses. Maybe it was because he bounced around so much as a kid, thanks to 3 different divorces, but he liked to think it just made more sense to not get attached to things. The memories didn't get burned up with a house, or transferred to the new owners if it got sold. A house was just wood and nails. Falling in love with a house or a car or a pair of shoes, it was a dead end. You save your love for the things that can love you back. Falconer wanted the Porsche out of view, in case Reaper came by or somebody tried to steal the stereo or something. One of the abandoned houses down the street left its garage door open, and Falconer pulled in. John personally thought it was wiser to have the car within lunging distance in case they needed to make a desperate getaway, but apparently desperate getaways were what other people did in Falconer's world, while Falconer chased them and told them they had the right to remain silent. Once parked, John found the prospect of opening the car door and stepping out into the night erased any illusions he had that this was the same old neighborhood. In the rearview mirror, John saw curtains rustle in the dark houses across the street. An infected? Or somebody hunkered down? Scared that John and Falconer were infected? Who knows? If it was some terrified refugee crouched with a shotgun, John was hoping that the Porsche would put them at ease. No zombie's gonna drive a Porsche. There you go, with that zombie bullshit. They eased the heavy garage door down, closing it behind the Porsche. They headed down the sidewalk, at which point John thought he saw somebody slip around a corner, but then he realized he didn't. He thought he heard footsteps, but it was a windy night and the sound was a strand of Christmas lights from last year tapping against a window at the neighbor's place. Falconer asked, "The soy sauce, was it in the house when it burned?" "No, I'll show you." John was afraid Falconer would say, "Great, I'll wait here." But instead, Falconer led the way, striding into Dave's yard like a man with a huge gun. Falconer glanced this way and that, alert but not scared. John followed and made his way around the yard to find the tool shed hadn't burned. It was also still unlocked from when he'd grabbed the chainsaw the day everything went to shit. He reached inside and grabbed a shovel. He tossed it to Falconer. "The sauce is in a little silver container, about the size of a spool of thread. Inside is a really thick black liquid. When we find it, don't open it. Not only will the shit kill you if it gets on your skin, but it will come after you. Have you seen the blob? It's like that, only tiny. And when you say it will kill you, you mean me, because you can handle it for some reason. Yes, you'll see." "Uh-huh. And judging from the shovel, I assume you buried it." "Yeah, around here somewhere. Don't look at me that way. I need you to do the digging. You'll see why. It's not deep. Now, the container is somewhere here in the backyard. I know where, but I'm not going to tell you. I want you to walk to a random spot, what you think is a random spot anyway, and dig down about a foot." Falconer didn't move from where he was standing. He plunged the shovel into the dirt right in front of his feet. 3 scoops, and then, "Look, right there." Falconer looked down, and in the moonlight, saw the glint of brushed steel poking out from the mud. "All right, how did you do that?" "I didn't. It did. The sauce. When we buried it, Dave just threw the shovel like a javelin and said wherever it landed, that's where he'd bury it. That's where it landed, where you're standing, because the soy sauce wanted it to land there, because it knew you would be standing there a year later." "It knew. So the sauce is alive?" "Yes, sir." "And now you're going to swallow some of it?" "That's the least painful way, yeah. And you have no idea how it does what it does." "Let's just say it's magic. Let's just say that I need a little more explanation than if I'm going to go along with this." John sighed. "Okay. Have you heard of nanotechnology?" "Yeah, microscopic robots, right?" "Right. And imagine they can make millions of these robots and embed them in a liquid, so that you now have a liquid infused with the power of all these machines. Got it? All right. Now imagine if, instead of tiny robots, it's magic." John dug the bottle from the mud with his fingers. "Stand back. If you take that shit and you go into a seizure or cardiac arrest, I'm leaving you here. Detective, if I take this shit and it looks like the trip is going bad, fucking run." John squeezed the bottle in his hand. He thought he heard the footsteps again, but decided he needed to stop falling for that at some point. He took a deep breath and said, "All right, here goes."